Hey, happy Friday. Paul, how you doing?
I am great. It's Friday. Finally Friday. Feeling good.
Paul and I have been buried under admin. If you think that adults don't do admin, think again. Blimey, we might be doing creative stuff this afternoon, but this morning we have been buried under a pile of admin. And so it's good to come up for a breath of fresh air and do some creative stuff with you. Paul, give us a rundown. What are you famous for?
I am famous for creativity, quotes, and funny caricatures of my colleagues.
Good man, I like that. I'd like to see some of them. Maybe not while we're live, but
No.
welcome everyone to Fair Trade and Nurses Day. That's what we're doing. It's all about solidarity this session. Solidarity for nurses. They're striking for a better pay deal. Well, I think that's actually gone through now. But if you wanted to change this one so that you can support your teachers, that would be well received, wouldn't it? Just that get you a few house points, maybe a better
Yeah.
school report. Who knows? Just saying. If you're here from one of the schools, I can see people online already. Give us a shout out in the comments if you've got access to them. That would be great. And Paul, I wonder if you can remember, because I can't remember what I did this morning apart from loads of admin. What did we do in the session yesterday?
Guys, yesterday we went through all the different things that you can do in Adobe Express, changing the backgrounds, changing text, adding images, everything creative, everything to be a designer. Which is
Exactly.
fantastic.
And actually, as luck would have it, Paul is a certified graphic designer. I only found that out yesterday, and then he blew us away with his graphic design skills just to just to drive the point home. So thanks for that. But we are going to do two challenges today. The first one is, you can see it on the right hand side. I did a bit of an example here. Design a message or poster of support for all the nurses who look after us in times of need. And then the second one is going to be talking about fair trade. We're going to be doing a web page all about fair trade, what the fair trade mission is all about. So you'll learn some things at the same time as learning about what fair trade is all about. Right. This page that you see in front of me, or maybe on your screens, you will hopefully have access to that. Hopefully you've got it already. If not, you can go to the short link here, bit.ly/express fair, if you can access a short link. But I did email it out to all the teachers who signed up for today. Paul, what can they do with the QR codes, Mr. iPad
So
Genius?
on your iPad, if you open up the camera app, you can just hover over the QR code. You'll see a link that comes up. Click on that link, and the web page will open there and then for you.
Exactly. Is there a different way to say Bob's your uncle in Northern Ireland?
No, Bob's your uncle.
Bob's your uncle. I mean, Bob, is it a really popular name in Northern Ireland?
Not really.
That's why I thought you might have an alternative, you know. Do you know what I mean?
Patrick's your uncle.
Yeah, there you go. Pat's your uncle. That'll do. Right. So let's go through a couple of ground rules first. First ground rule is we're going to be demonstrating on the screen here, and Paul and I will be switching back and forth. I'll be using the browser version. Paul will be using the iPad apps. Now, you can get really good tips off both of us, particularly Paul. So, you can follow along to both and see the tips and see the tricks. It is slightly different, especially when we're creating the posters between the browser and the iPad app. So just bear that in mind. But do work alongside us. You don't have to keep up with us because we'll be going back and forth, you see. So you'll have time to catch up all the time because I'll do the first section, then Paul will do the first section. I'll do the second section, Paul will do the second section. So you've always got these little breaks where you can catch up. But if you feel like you're going really far behind, no problem, just pause it. That's fine, and you can restart whenever you're ready. Keep in mind, though, once we get to the end of demoing the different challenges, each one, we're going to have like a 5-minute sort of break where I'll just be, jabbering on, and you guys can just chill out and get all your work done and finish it off and align this and change this and have a look at the colors there and change the text there. So you will have time at the end to finish your designs before hopefully you share them with us. Right, so that's the first rule of Digital Leaders Club. Second rule of Digital Leaders Club is if you complete both of your challenges, we're doing 2 challenges today. If you complete both of your challenges, then you get to apply for swag. I'm going to be sending out an email to your teachers after this session. You can get swag delivered to your school completely free. And if you then go on, or if you intend to then go on and teach your skills, your express skills to other students, other pupils, other classes in your school, what do they get, Paul?
They get VIP swag.
VIP swag. And at the moment, they are some very swanky notebooks where you can get creative and do all your creative work in there. So that's pretty cool. So they're the only 2 rules of Digital Leaders Club. Do you know what I'm looking at right now, Paul? I'm looking at a cat who took a poo on my lawn about an hour ago, and he's back. What am I going to do about that? I'm stuck in here. I can't go out and scare him away. That's a shame, isn't it? What a thing to bring up on a live session. There you go. That's what we're all about here. Right. I think it's time for us to get going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get Express open. So make sure you've logged in. Make sure you're ready to go. This is the browser version. You should be ready to go here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this and hover over custom size graphic. If you're on the browser, that's the way you can start. And pretty much you can pick up from what Paul's about to show us now, because the iPad way in is slightly different. So we'll kick it over to Paul and let's have a look.
Yeah, so guys, on the iPad, we are using this app, which is Adobe Express. We will also be using Spark Page for our second challenge. 2 different apps on the iPad, but on the desktop, it's just all in the one. So we open up Adobe Express. At the top, you can hover over custom size, which is on the top left there, or you can look for the big plus, the big pink and purple plus at the bottom. If we click that, then we can pick solid color. It's the one there with the paint bucket tool, and just pick that for us. There we go.
Interesting. That's choice for your first color there.
It just randomizes it, guys, so everybody's is going to be different. Then you can just pick it onto white. Tick next, and then look, I can resize it to whatever size I want. And if you're in school, the best size is A4, because you'll want to print this out, guys. And most of your printers will be A4 size. Just hit done, and there we go. That's us ready to go.
Ready to go, ready to rock and roll. Right. Okay. So let me switch over here. Actually, one thing I'm going to show you before we start is if you scroll down on this page, and don't worry if you haven't got it, but it is useful to have it. But you'll see that we've got lots of different sort of messages which you can go for here, which you can use. You can see I've used one in this kind of curved piece of text, kind of title text at the top. I've used one in a sticker, and also you can't see it because it's been cut off at the bottom, but I do also use one further down as well. So get any of those messages, put them in your designs, and I'll start off by, like Paul did, I went to the big plus, go to custom size graphic. When you go in this one, you can just select print. You can go to A4, and then you can click next. Okay, right. Now, one thing you can do on the browser, which you can't do on the iPad until the end, is you can rename it. So I'm going to just put nurses or nurse day in mine. I'll call it that. I'm going to get rid of this template section because we don't need templates. No. We're going to just go from scratch because we are digital leaders, and we're going to put this tool through its paces. Now you can see, like Paul, I've got this big white background here. Now, if you're in the iPad version, you can, have a go at doing this as well. And then Paul will show you a really good way to do it. But I can just click on it. And on the right-hand side, immediately, I get this option to edit the background. So I click on the little slider that comes up. You see when you go in there, it comes up. Click on there. And then I can move this color wheel. I'm going to start asking Paul for all the technical names because he's a graphic designer. What would you call this? Color palette?
That's your color palette.
Right, that's your color palette. I am not a graphic designer by trade, and so I am picking Paul's brains as much as possible. That one's good for me. I'm happy with that. Click that off. Right, we've got a good place to start. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is go for text. And if you go back to this page, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for this text, this kind of curved text here, solidarity with nurses. So I'll grab that piece of text there. I'll use Control and C, or maybe if you're on an iPad, you tap it and then you'll press copy. and then go back to Adobe Express, add my text. You see, because if you just open this text section up here, you can add your text. You can use these kind of, these templates here, and they're pretty good to be fair. But I'll just add it because I'm going to show you how to use the tool properly. It gives you a random color. Don't mind that actually. But you can see in here it's highlighted, double click to edit. And all I'm going to do once I get rid of that is paste in my new text, solidarity with nurses. That's good for me. Right. Next thing I'll do, maybe I'll make this, it's a slightly sort of joyless yellow, really. Maybe that's a graphic design term, joyless yellow. And I'm going to stick it there. And then what I'm going to do is, you see this little rosette thing here? I'm going to click it, and I'm going to go for curved text, right? Stick it in there. Now, I like that. I'm going to offset it a little bit because that feels funky to me. And then I'm going to make it a bit bigger. Now, I like it like this. Don't mind it, but I think there's probably better fonts that I could use. And you can see down here, you get font recommendations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to explore more. Comes up with a bigger sort of menu of options here. Don't like any of these particularly. So click on show more. I'm looking for something that's a little bit more playful, looks a bit more sketchy, looks a little bit more, come on, here we go. That one's not bad, but this is the one. Is that the one? Maybe it's the one. But you can just keep on going. I'll find one. Don't you worry. Come on. I would hope I would choose one before I got this far. But do you know what? Let's go back to this one here. That one's good. I like it. The one thing I didn't like about it, to be fair, was it still looks a bit thin. So in order to make that a bit better, I'm going to switch on outline because that automatically makes it look quite bold because I quite like that. You can change the text so it matches the one above because now it's in my palette. You see this kind of, it's not looking so joyful there, but it makes it look bold, which I'm kind of into. And then, so it gives it that, it's a thicker appearance, so it's easy to read. But still, I think I might stick a shadow on it. And it's giving me a yellow shadow. Actually, that kind of works. Yeah. You can play around. Maybe like the purple shadow would be quite nice because it just makes it look more readable. It kind of offsets it, and so it makes it feel, well, it just makes it more readable, which is good. Right. That's where we are. We've got our title ready to go. I might just play with the alignments a little bit, just move it around. But, rather than you watch me do that, watch an expert do it. Paul, you're on.
Okay, guys. So those of you on an iPad or a tablet, what you'll notice is straight away we have text that comes up. All I want to do is tap on the text, and then you'll see the bin option. Just delete that for us. Now, if you want to change the color of your background, you'll notice at the bottom of your screen, you'll have colors. If I click on colors, I have a whole range of different color palettes that I can choose from. So I can swing along and let's see, there we go, color prop. I can choose on that. And if you notice the two arrows cross over, if I hit that, I can just keep going until I choose color. I kind of like that orange.
Yeah.
Or I can choose the sliders at the top and I can choose any one of them. Let's just choose that one. Oh, there we go. So I got a blue there as well. So I'm happy with the blue, and then I can hit done at the bottom right of my page here.
That's one thing that I always forget to do when I'm using the iPad is always click done.
Yeah, so sometimes you can't forget that. Just always hit done. Okay, and then to add anything new, we're always looking for the plus, guys. So there is a plus that says add on the left. Click the plus, and let's click the text. Okay, so I'm just going to type it in to show you how you would type it in. So I'm going to do something slightly different. Standing with teachers. Going to try and get you all off homework for the weekend.
Someone's Mr. Popular.
Yeah. Okay, so there we are, standing with teachers. Now, we have different options here. We have font, recommendations, color, opacity, all different things that we can do. Coolest thing about the iPad is the style option at the very bottom. We get this cool wheel that pops up.
You love that one.
I love this one. And then we can just go, and I really like that. Straight away, I like that. But I can go and go and go and go. Actually, That one's kind of cool as well.
Yeah.
Standing with teachers. So I can choose that. Then I can go to adjust. I can change the size. I can click on effects. This gives me my option for outlines and shadows like Dom did. So let me click on the outline. Whoa,
Nice.
like that one straight away. But I can also click on the three sliders, change the color. So there we go, I've got a different color. Let's see if there's a nice red along here. There we go, choose red, but I kind of like the black. Hit done. You can change the thickness, make it nice and thick.
That's quite cool.
Thin. You can add a shadow. That was a cool shadow. I kind of just like the outline. And then there's also the shape. You can take the shape on or off as well. Now, if I click on the shape, if I click the three sliders there at the bottom, I've got a load of different shapes here that I can choose from. So I can put on a, let's see, this one, or a circle. Oh, I kind of like that.
That's cool, actually.
Yeah. There's offset. So yeah, I'm going to go back to that one. Decorative. Hit done. There we go. And what I can do now is I can just drag the corners, as you can see, just to size it up, change the font, and then move it around as well. And then notice it just kind of snaps the middle. So I'm going to put mine right at the top there.
Good stuff. Right. So we've got two competing visions here going on. So let's have a look and see what we can do. Right. So one of the things that I really liked about what Paul did there was, you see his like circle. I'm going to do that for I'm going to put like a sticker on here, fair pay for our heroes. So let me grab that phrase there. I'm going to copy it, go back to Express, click on text, go to add your text. Now this is dead easy. You can see now it's actually put the shadow and the outline like I had on my kind of title, Solidarity with Nurses. I'm just going to flick those off. Don't need them. Double click in here and paste in fair pay for our heroes. Now again, click off, click on, and you'll see the font recommendations come again. Now what I'm looking for, because I was too lazy to type it out in capital letters, I'm actually looking for a font. That one will do actually, where it is all in capitals, that'll do. Then I'm going to sort of scrooge it down. That'll do there. And the reason why I want it on 3 lines is because what I'm going to do is come out of my font recommendations by clicking the X at the top. Go to my shapes, open it up. It automatically flicks this little like check button on for you. Then, I mean, another really inspiring dirty brown color comes up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it to a red, I think. Click in there. And then for my shape, I'm going to do something similar to what Paul had. Maybe go for, I mean, he had one that was kind of scratchy. I think it was that one, actually. But actually, I want to make it look like a sticker. So actually, yeah, I'll do that one. Now, the text itself, I want it to be white. Now, if you any time you want white, you just open up your color palette there and you just drag the circle right up into the top left. That's always pure white. If you drag it down to the bottom left, it's always pure black. Okay, so they're the two most useful ones. I'll go for white in here, and then I'll just, you can see that it kind of clicks into certain different angles. You can see, but you want it to be just slightly, what I mean, I want it just to be slightly off there, and then reduce the size so that it doesn't kind of dominate. Okay. And then stick it not quite center, because I kind of want to make it look like it's a sticker that someone's just kind of, you know, put on during like some kind of protest or some kind of support strike or whatever. So that's good there. I'll do one more thing before I kick it over to Paul. And the thing I'm going to do now is I want to put these hearts on. Okay. I want to put these hearts on. So dead easy to do that. Go to shapes, put in hearts. Okay. Now I want something which is slightly, you know, looks like it's been designed more than just like, you know, computer generated. And that's why I like this one. I think this one's good. Okay. Now I might adjust the size ever so slightly. Right, I'll put it up. I'll put it around about here. It doesn't need to be, you know, center. It just needs to be center-ish because again, that's the kind of style we're going for. But you can see here, I want to overlap them. I want to do two, make the colors different and overlap them. So first one, maybe I'll make it a sort of, where's the pink? Here we go. There's a pinkish one. And then what I can do here, you can see up there, it says duplicate. If you just hover over that one with the two boxes, one with the plus in it, just duplicate it. And now if I change the color, what am I going to go for here? Maybe, something quite similar, but different. There we go. I like that. And then you can move both of these around together if you want to. You can even resize them together. So that purple one is selected, right? And if I hold shift down, you can do this on the iPad by selecting multiple. But if I hold shift down and click on the pink one as well, now both of these can be moved at the same time and resized at the same time. So that's pretty cool. And I'm happy with it being round about there. There we go. Ready to go, Paul.
Cool. Okay, so guys, I'm going to show you how to do something very similar. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add in now a design asset or a shape. So we click on add again, and you can see I've got design assets and shapes. I'm going to go for a solid shape this time. I'm just going to look for the big square, but you can see there is tons and tons of different shapes, and you can search for whatever you want as well. But I'm just going to go for a flat square. Hit add one at the very top right of your screen, and this is our square that goes in. So I'm going to put this over
Paul
here.
always makes me nervous when he's doing stuff like this because I just know it's going to look really good, and then I'm like, oh man, I wish I'd done that.
So that's what I'm going to do, and then using the kind of the circle arrow, if I put my finger on that, I'm just going to offset it slightly, drag it to here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the color, hit fill, and I'm just going to choose white. Okay, so that's my white color. Then hit done again. Now click on it, and what I can do is I can hit edit and duplicate, just like Dom. I'm going to duplicate that. It will be offset, as you can see, and then I'm going to hit duplicate again. So there's 3 in here. So my top one, I want white.
Here we go.
My middle one, I'm going to change the color. I'm going to make this a nice, where we got it, nice pink. Change that to pink. And my back color, sorry, I forgot to hit done. Typical mistake. Hit done. Hit done again. Then click on your back one. Choose the color again, and this time I'm going to choose a nice, we got it, a nice joyful yellow this time. There we go, a nice joyful yellow. There we go, I like that. So cool. Now all I need to do is just move that to there. There we go. Click on this one and bring it up. And now, guys, what I can do is I can click on one, hit edit, and then I can hit select multiple here. So then I can click all 3. Hit next and hit group, and then there we go. I can move them all at one time.
Yeah, very cool.
And that's my nice shape. So that's ready now for me to add in some text. So I'll just add in text, and I'll pass back over to Dom. Hit the plus button, hit the text.
Look at him just playing like the cool guy.
Like,
he's not even a word. You know what I mean? He's just carrying on, doing his graphic design degree stuff.
Yeah, it's about time I used it today. So
I'll get you on your spelling, though. I'll get you on your spelling. You've got 2 4s in there. You see,
4 4. Oh,
you might have all the design skills.
Fair pay for our educators. There we go, done. And you can see, guys, it comes up with the exact same style as before. So I'm going to change that. Simply click on your style wheel, and there we go.
Oh.
And the good thing about the iPad is it recognizes the colors that you've already used and tries to match them up. So that's kind of a nice one there, actually. The yellow.
Yeah, it was good, actually.
Yeah. You can just go back. There we go. Just drag that down. Use our wheel.
Nice.
There we go. It will center up and then just scale it up like you would. And then just like before, click on effects, add our shadow.
Nice.
Like,
yeah.
Hit done. And there we go.
Oh, man. Whatever. Okay, let me have it back. Right. Let's see if we can't do ourselves a bit of justice here. Right. So what I'm going to do next is, now in my example here, I used a shape of a nurse in here, but actually I think I'm going to use a photo this time because I want to show you how to remove the background. So if I go to photos here and I go to nurses, maybe I'll go for a group of nurses. There we go. Now we've got all sorts going on here. And what I'm looking for is maybe there might be a group of nurses on a background that I can easily take away. Now, there aren't really, because when there's more than one, it's not so easy to do, not so easy to find ones that kind of where you can take the background away very easily. I mean, I'll try this one maybe. Maybe I'll try that one, see what happens. Right, so if I scale this up a bit, you got three of them, three professionals, medical professionals there in the middle. Now, I wonder what you reckon, Paul? What do you reckon my chances are of getting just the three people? Pretty good?
Oh, 100%.
You reckon?
This is my favorite thing about Adobe Express. It's so good.
Right, let's click remove background and let's see if Paul knows what he's talking about. So, remove background. It's doing its thing. All sorts of things I don't understand in here. Ha! Look at that. Look at that. Design Pro. That's great. Love that. Okay, so I'm going to scale that down a bit. Now I'm going to put it there. Now what you'll see is that my background is almost the same as these nurse scrubs, as you call them. So what I'm actually going to do is click on my background and change that color so that it's different. Now I'm going to have to be careful and make sure. Come on, Paul. You've got a graphic design degree. Give me a color that you think would work here. Maybe the green.
Probably closer to a yellow in the background.
Oh, yeah.
Then you're going to have to change the color of your font.
Right. Oh man. All sorts of madness going on here. Yeah, maybe I'll. Yeah. Do you know what? I'm gonna go with. I'm going to go with the green here now. And I know it's quite similar to the nurse's uniform there, but I'm going to go with it. And maybe I'll play around with it later. Now, what you'll see is we've kind of cut, we've got a sort of straight cut along the bottom here where those nurses are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in some text. I'm going to go here and what am I going to put in here? I'm going to put, we support NHS nurses striking for fair pay. Copy that, go back to Express, add my text. I'll just paste it in there. You can see it's made it into a sticker, like my fair pay for our heroes thing. But just let me paste in the text. That's fine. Might keep the same font. I'm not sure yet. But you can see that the shape is on. So if I open that up, I'm going to now change the shape so it looks a bit different. This one here, top row, middle column. Oh, that's unusual. Do you know why? There you go. Once I bring it down onto a few different, just 3 lines, it brings it right across the middle, which is good. And then I can kind of line it up, you see, to the nurses, and I can even put it on top because it doesn't really matter because the background is covering over the bottom of their legs, which is great. Now, time to change some fonts around. Let's go for a white font. Where's it gone? That's because the background is white too. So let's change that to say like a blue. That looks good to me. Happy with that. You could always use a color in your palette that would match it up with the heart at the back. So that works quite well. Quite happy with that. And that is, that is kind of the basics now of what we need. I think while Paul's doing his magic, I'm going to play around with my text because suddenly I'm thinking this yellow text doesn't really work. But let's hand it over to the master and let him do his thing, and then I'll be back on.
Okay, so guys, just like Dom, I added an image. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I want to add another image down at the bottom, right here. So if we click on add, it's always the plus. But this time, don't click on photos because photos will be the photographs stored on your device. Click on Adobe Stock. They're all the free photographs from Adobe Creative Express. And then at the very top of your screen, you'll see a search bar. Click on the search bar and we'll just type in teacher. Okay. or it can be a nurse, or whatever you're looking for. It can be absolutely anything. And I'm just looking for something, someone smiling. Let's see, kind of like this one. I'm going to choose that one, or maybe this one. Yeah, I'll choose that one and then hit add. Now you'll notice, guys, that there is a small tick. Sometimes that tick takes a bit of time to appear. So as soon as that appears, you can hit add at the top of your screen. And then we will get two options. We want to move this freely. So click move freely. We'll just scale it up. Hit done. If I click on it, hit edit, you'll notice I have the remove background. This is my favorite thing in Adobe Express. It is so handy.
I mean, that one could be tricky.
Yep, it's gone.
Ah!
It hasn't failed me yet. I've actually sat and tried multiple images. And I'm just going to stick that teacher right at the bottom. She looks pretty perfect. Standing with our educators. Just move her down a bit. There we go.
Very
Super.
nice.
Let's look now. Let's see what else can we do. We've got the order. We've got adjust. We can do all the scales, colors, looks. Let's see. We can make her a bit brighter or darker. There we go. I just like none. Enhance. There we go. That's it. So we just hit done at the bottom. That's us pretty much ready to be finished. So we've got our text. We've got our images.
That is great.
Got our banners. That's a very functioning poster.
Oh man. Right. Well, I went with your advice here. I went with the yellow background. What do you think?
Yeah, it definitely stands out a bit better. Works with the purples as well.
What I might do, and what I've tried to do here is I've tried to sort of when you're using a color palette, and Paul's a much better person to talk about this, but you kind of want to keep it pretty limited, don't you? You don't want to be doing too many crazy colors.
Yeah.
So I've kind of got my pink on this banner on the bottom. I've got pink there. I've used that in the text around there. I've got an outline or a shadow even, which is white. I've got white text down here. And I've got the pink at the back with this heart as well. I mean, the red kind of sticks out on its own, but I think because it's a sticker, I'm kind of happy with that, really. Don't mind it being like that because it almost draws the attention more than it would do. One last thing I'm going to do here is what I'm going to do is going to go to design assets. And now that, let's say that I'm happy with that, don't want to change anything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make this look like it was a poster or like a banner or a placard or something like that was actually used in, like a protest or, some kind of, supporting of a strike and something like that. And how I'm going to do that is by opening up design assets. And then I'm going to go to textured paper. And what you'll get in here is all sorts of kind of crumpled pieces of paper. So what I'll do is I'll click on one. I think this second row, this one looks pretty good to me. I'm happy with that. Now it goes in here. You can see it. It's only small. So what you do is scale it up and you're thinking, well, that doesn't look very good. Well, just give it a second. You want to cover it so it's nicely over the image. This is going to make it look a bit sort of vintage, look like it's been well used, well thumbed for a very worthy cause. And you can see in here automatically this is called a blend mode. So you can have normal, right? And then you can just see all of it. Or you can have screen, or you can have multiply. Now in this instance, multiply is going to be the best one. But you think, well, actually that's too dark. It's making it look too dark. So what you can do is just bring down the opacity. Okay. There we go. Now, what you might, that kind of makes it look pretty normal, but it makes, if you actually zoom in and if you actually did print this out, it would really look like it had been used. So if I go into 200% here, you can see that there's little creases all over this thing, little creases making it look like someone's, you can see one up here as well. It makes it look like they've been shaking it in some kind of politician's face, maybe something like that. And that's what we're after. So I'm going to press fit, go back to fit. And then when you're happy with that, what you can do is you can download it. You see in that you can see what PNG as my download. I'll do that. And because I called it Nurses Day, it's going to, or Nurse Day. When I download it, it's going to give me the option to save it with that name automatically, which is great. There it goes. It comes up there. I can save it to my machine. And you can see it downloads there. And then the next thing is, if you're going to share your work with us, which I really hope you do, you're going to press share, publish. You're not going to give us this link that's at the top. You see the one I've highlighted here. Not going to give us that link because no one can see that apart from you. But you can share it by Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams, or by clicking link. And it's usually pretty quick. Not as quick if you're on a live stream, of course. But when you're in your classrooms, it'll be pretty quick. And it will kick out a URL that you can send to anyone you like. And they'll be able to see your work no matter where they are, dead easy. There you go. You can copy that. There we go. Paul, show us how to do it on the iPad, please.
No problem. Okay, so guys, I'm just going to show you how to add the texture on the iPad, the same as Dom, slightly different. Click add. You can go into design assets, but on the iPad, go into backgrounds and just type in anything. So for this one, I'm going to type in stars. Let's see what we've got. We've got a nice starry background, something like this. Let's see. I'm just going to use this one. Okay, just a few
I know
speckles.
what you're doing here. I spot you're a mile away.
Okay, and I'm just going to drag it right over the top of my image here. Let's see if I can turn that around. There we go. Perfect. Now you might be thinking, okay, so that's my image now. It's completely blacked out. But if I go to blend, I can hit screen. It takes rid of all the black, adds in a couple of speckles. Hit done.
Nice.
And that's
a nice one.
Now, guys, at the top of the screen, you've got two arrows, one pointing down and one pointing up. We want to press the one pointing up. So press on that. Make sure that it's on images, not transparent images, and hit share. It'll prepare your project. Might take a bit of time. And we have an option to download our image. That'll download onto our device. And if we scroll over, we've got the same option to copy link. And it's that link that you want to share with us today. So we hit copy link. That'll spit out our URL. And then you can share your URL with us then. That's going to share your work. So that's copied. And then we just put that into a web browser, share it with anybody, and you can see your work anywhere.
Good stuff. Right. I've just put the link down the bottom. You can see it on the scrolly. That's the one to share with us. I'll put a bit of music on because we'll give you 4 or 5 minutes to complete your work before we move on to the next challenge. And in the meantime, I'm going to do a few things on here. Well, the first thing I'll do, and you can mute me now, by the way, if you want to get on, or just pause it. That's absolutely fine. But I'm going to copy that link there. And you can see on that scrolly thing, it's bit.ly/share express. There we go. You hit that. And then what you can do is you don't have to put your name in, not required. Ask your teacher whether that's okay or not. You put your school name in, don't have to put that in either. But you do have to put in the link to your project. So I'll just put Dom in here and I'll call it the Sandy School of Design. There we go. I feel like I've been schooled today. And then I'm going to click submit. And you see, that's going to come through to the spreadsheet of wisdom. You see, there it is, the Sandy School of Design. So what I'll show you is, don't give me these long links. These long links here, they're the ones at the top. No one else can see them apart from you. So don't give us those ones. Give us the ones that you can see when you press share and publish. Right. So we'll give everyone a few minutes to finish off their work, but I'm going to try a few things, and Paul's going to give me the benefit of his wisdom here. So Paul's been doing all sorts of funky stuff here, and I'm quite jealous. One thing I was jealous of, just Paul, I'm going to put your screen up very quickly, is this, the way he's got these stripes. So I'm going to get them on mine. So let me go back to my screen, and I think the way I'm going to do it is go to shapes. I'll go to, what am I going to go to? Rectangle, something like that. Fine. Right, so here's a basic shape. I'll go for the one with where the color is filled in. Right, stick it in here. Right, you can see the way it's snapped to the bottom there, or the bottom of the kind of banner going across the bottom of mine. I'm going to stretch it out, It doesn't matter if you go over the edges because you can't see it. Now, Paul, considering I've got a pink background here and considering my palette, what kind of things do you think I should try here?
Baby blue.
Baby blue. Okay.
Baby blue and probably orange.
Right. Baby blue. Right, let's go in here. So maybe something like that. Okay. Let's do that
It's
for
kind of
one.
like you're kind of got a 70s palette going on.
Yeah,
there.
it's quite 70s, isn't it? It reminds me of all sorts of series that I might have watched. Here we go. And now, because this is on top, now obviously that's not good because it's obscuring the text. So if I bring it down in my layer stack, you see there, and drop it underneath "We support NHS nurses," then it'll pop out on top. So I'm happy with that one. And then what I'll do is I'm going to duplicate it. Now I've got another one here. Now I'm going to stick it. It doesn't matter where it is right now because if I change the color, I'll go for an orange like Paul mentioned. There we go. This kind of orange here. Yeah, okay. And now, actually, I think I'll put it underneath the blue one as well. Right, so now I have to play around with, now I have to play around with where things sit. Okay, so if I put that one there and then change the blue one and move that up. What am I doing here? Oh yeah, change the order around. Here we go. This is better. So something like this. Yeah. And then you can play with your little arrows to make it bigger or smaller. What I might need to do here is repeat it at the bottom. I don't know what you think about that. Got the blue one, stretch out this one. Got the orange one, stretch out that one. There we go. And then we've kind of got a stripe as well. Doesn't really work as well as Paul's, to be fair. I think, you know, trying to do things on different designs maybe doesn't. You got to stick to your guns. It's just I'm jealous of Paul and what he can do. Really. Maybe I'll take off the blue one, and then maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll change this one. I could use the red that's already there. Yeah, not sure. Maybe stick with the blue. Yeah. One thing I will also try is Paul's thing that he did with the stars. So if I go to backgrounds, you see, I'm not sure whether I'll use, I don't know whether, if I use backgrounds on this, I'm wondering whether it will actually take over the background on mine. Because you get the option on yours, don't you, to add freely or not?
Yeah.
Whereas I don't. Let's try it anyway. Let's try that. Yeah, you see, it automatically sort of takes over. So if I come out of that by pressing undo, and then maybe go to design assets. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Let's try. I might have to do mine in a different way to the way Paul did it. I mean, yeah, stars. Try this one.
Yeah, that one could work.
Yeah. Something like that, maybe.
Yeah.
And then spin it around. Take it into the top. Be interested to see whether this works, actually. But this is what it's all about, isn't it? You know, just trying things, seeing whether it works. And if it doesn't, just hit undo. Right, so obviously that's over the top. Doesn't work like it does now. If I go screen. Just looks like a winter scene. You see, so it's interesting playing with these different things. Multiply, and there's screen. So yeah, didn't really work, but it was worth a shot. But Paul knew exactly when and where to use it, so there you go. Right, so just hit delete. Doesn't matter, we're all done. Right, I think it's time for us to get on with challenge number 2. So let me pause the music. let me press the big Adobe in the top left. And just let me check here. Yeah, keep on. Do send them in if you've got them. We'd love to see them. We are going to go on to challenge number 2 here. So again, you can pause us at any time. If you need more time to do your own thing, that's absolutely fine. But we're going to move on to challenge 2. You can also revisit this recording whenever you need to, which is fine. So this one's all about fair trade. And you can see here, we've got a button words. And it's bit.ly/express fair trade. Now, if you click that, it's going to open up this Google Doc here. Okay. And these are all the different kind of sections we're going to use to create our web page. Okay. So we've got about half an hour left here, which should be plenty of time. So what I'm going to do here is, and this is very similar to how we do it on an iPad, but let me do it really quickly for you. Press the plus, go down to web page, give that a click. And then in here, add a title. Let's go fair trade. And then I'll put my name in, Dom Trainer. There we go. Right, Paul, if you can get us to there with the app and show them where to open it up and that stuff, that'd be great.
Cool. So guys, on Adobe Express, as you can see, when you press the plus, there's no option for a web page. That's because on the iPad, it's a separate app. It is called Spark Page. So we click on that, we open that. Again, we look for the plus. This time it's blue. Click on the blue plus, and that's it. Guys, this is very, very similar now to the desktop, so you can be following along with Dom if you're using an iPad. We click on add title, write in fair trade, and we can add a subtitle, which can be our name, or it can just be a subtitle. Okay, fair trade, the mission. Perfect. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to scroll down. I'm going to press the plus, and the plus gives me an option for photo. You see our options at the side. Click on free images, and I'm just going to type in something to do with trade. OTR. There we go. Trade.
Yeah, I mean,
all my images will pop up.
We found, didn't we, that searching for fair trade doesn't really give you that many images, so you have to kind of get creative with what you're looking for.
That's it, yeah. And I think yesterday I chose something. Yeah, it was all in spices.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
So there we go. That's it.
Good stuff. Yeah, so like Paul said, it's so similar on a Spark Page, really similar to the desktop. So to be honest, we might do a bit of back and forth, but maybe, we don't need to do so much of that. But like Paul did, you can either press the plus down here, and on the browser, you can actually create different styles of header layouts here. Have a little look through them, but I think the photo one is always the best. So I'm going to click photo. When it says search Adobe stock, like what we were saying before, fair trade doesn't really give you that much. Let me show you. Fair trade. I mean, if you put it in as 2 separate words, actually, yeah, if you put it in as 2 separate words, it's better. It's better.
Yeah.
You get a lot more stuff. So that's quite good. I mean, fair trade chocolate's a pretty big deal, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you can do that one, but actually, I quite like this one here. And one thing you can do is you can move your title to another sort of position there to sort of show off this label that they've got here. Now, before Paul does it, I'm going to get in there first. If you want, you can change themes. I always forget to show people this. And these things kind of determine what your page is going to look like. Generally, I think I quite like building the page and then going at the end and having a look at themes. But I think maybe, if you typically use a certain theme, maybe you just go in there and choose it first. Like Wesley is one I use all the time. I like Wesley. It's a good one. So maybe I'll just go in there, do that. And it changes things like fonts. It changes things like formatting and stuff like that. But let's have a look and see how it works. Right. So I'm going to scroll down. And the first thing I'm going to do is click split layout. Right. Here's where you can flip these around. Doesn't really matter. But I might have, maybe I'll do text on this side first. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this first section, all about what does fair trade do. Working with farming, cooperatives, businesses, and governments to make trade fair. That's what it's all about. So I'm going to copy all of that section. and I'll show you why. Because on the left-hand side here, I can click the plus, I can select text, and I'm just going to paste everything in. Okay. Now, this is where you start to, give it a bit of a lift. Okay. First thing we're going to do, what does fair trade do? You see this section here? I'm going to make that into a quote function because I think it looks really good in Wesley. That's one of the reasons why I chose that theme. I think it looks really good in Wesley. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave these 3 sections because I want it to be easy chunks for the reader to digest. But one of the things that I want to do is I want to make sure that they read what the vision of fair trade is. And it's this one here: a world in which trade is based on fairness so that producers earn secure and sustainable livelihoods. So I'm going to select that and click on bold. And you see, it makes it bold, draws the attention of the reader, draws the eye of the reader. So last but not least, I've got this YouTube link here to an official fair trade video. Now, as a link, that's doing nothing there for us like that. So I've highlighted it. I'm going to cut it by using Control and X, and then press on the plus again. And I'm going to go to video because this is a YouTube video. So if I paste in that YouTube link that I cut and click save, you see automatically embedded video, looking pretty professional. So the only thing I've got to do now before I kick it back over to Paul is just choose an image for the right hand side. So I mean, you can think of all sorts of things really. I mean, farming might be a good one. And you go on to add your image and you can search the free images again, go to farming. So, there's all sorts of different types of, I mean, what I'm looking for really is kind of farm workers, but actually this one's good. I like that one. It's showing kind of the realness of what we're dealing with here. People who are creating or growing the food that we eat. We need to give them a fair deal. So there we go. That's my first section. Yeah. Let's see how Paul does it.
Okay, so guys, as I said, very, very similar. The first thing I want to show you that is different is where we find our themes. So at the very top of our screen, we're looking for the little magic wand. If we press on that, we've got all our themes at the side. And I always kind of go for nightcap or trek. But because of what we're dealing with here, we're talking about fair trade, something a bit more serious. I always think crisp is good if you're talking about something more factual, or if you're making like a blog about your favorite food or something. Maybe whimsy might be different. So kind of relate your theme to your topic.
That's a good tip, yeah.
So if we scroll down, you'll see that the same bar pops up that Dom had. I'm going to click on split layout. We've got our image. We can flip them around by clicking the same thing in the middle. And then we click our plus. Now, I just need to go to my web browser, which is here. And this is where I have that page opened up. Now, this bit is slightly more difficult to do on an iPad or a tablet. So I'll just hold my finger down. I'll select the whole bit, which there we go. And then we'll hit copy. And we go back in, add our text, and then we paste it in. Okay, so what I'm going to do here now is I will just click on each individual bit of text, and we've got the text options here at the top. I will click H1, probably H2, just to keep it a bit more condensed. And I'm happy with the text left like that. It's easy to read. And this is the difficult bit. Selecting particular parts can be a bit tricky, but I'm going to select that, and then I put that in bold as well, because that's our mission, our vision. And then, guys, just like Dom, we have to add an image, and it's always useful to kind of look for keywords in your text. So things like fair trade, farmers, togetherness, workers. So I am actually going to choose farmers and workers here. If I just copy that, we're going to add image, just hit back, delete trade, and then paste it in. Hit enter. Let's see what it comes up with. Farmers and workers. Let's see. There we go. I kind of like this one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
That fits
and then
well.
If we press on it, we've got a focal point. I can just move that around. Kind of want him more central, and you can see at the top right of your screen where it is, and then just hit done. Perfect.
Yeah, very nice. Right. Yeah, let me just get onto the right screen here. There we go. And then add. Right. So, like Paul said, searching for a keyword image is a really good way to do it. So, I'll do this second section here. Again, fair trade set standards. They're talking about the sort of fair trade minimum price safety net. It sets economic and environmental standards for companies. So let me copy that. So I go back to Express, scroll down, get all these options again. I'm going to go to split layout again. This time you'll see the photo is on the right-hand side here, and now it's on the left-hand side. That's a nice design point. You can override that, but I don't think it looks as good personally. So I'm going to keep the image on the left-hand side, press the plus, go to text, just paste in all of that. Now, one thing I would say is you want to keep consistency. If you ever read a newspaper or anything like that, or, look at a website, they always have consistent style. So all of their titles will be in a similar style. All their subtitles will be a certain size. And the way that they highlight things will always be similar as well. So let's click on this first section, make it into the quote function, just like the first section. That's what you want to do. And then maybe I'll highlight something like the fair trade minimum price. You can go in there, and then when I've got it highlighted, I can click that kind of bold T there. That's good. And then again, got a YouTube link in here, but as it is, it's kind of useless really. So I'm going to cut it by highlighting it, pressing Control and X or Command and X, depending on what you're using. Then click on the plus again, go to video, stick it in there. Right. So that's exactly the same as how you did your first section. Exactly the same. Right. So what am I going to do here? So I'm going to search for something like workers' rights. I think that's a good one. So copy that on the left. I wonder what's going to come up for that. I mean, some of these things that you might search for might not come up first time. So have another go until you find what you're looking for. Workers' rights. That's what I'm looking for. So this is quite good. So, I mean, these are for all sorts of industries. There's a lot of kind of engineering stuff in here. So maybe I'll put like farm workers, a bit like Paul did on the last one. Yeah, something like this would be good. And that's good. Yeah, that's good. So you can see a few workers in there fighting for a minimum price safety net so they can get paid fairly. I think that's a really good one to use. Okay. I think what I'll do here, Paul, is go straight onto the glide show, and then we'll kick it back to you. Cool. Right. So we've got 2 sections left. And what I'm going to do with those is I'm going to put them into a glide show, because glide shows look really professional. And actually, the BBC use a version of a glide show all the time, especially on the Guardian long reads and stuff like this. So we've done our first 2 sections. You can see them here. At any time, you can press present. Okay. And then you can have a look. It's the same on the iPad, little play button in the top right. And you can have a look through your work, see if you like it. That's pretty cool. Got my video in there. If I click my video, I don't have to leave the page. It comes up straight away. Then I'm going to go to my next section. Again, I can click that video, comes up straight away. And then now I'm on this. So we're at the bottom now. So I'm going to escape out of that. Scroll down to the bottom. These options come up again. I'm going to click Glide Show. Now, what you do here is you put your images in before you put your text in. So if we go back to our Google Doc, what are we looking for? Fair trade certified products and ingredients. So ingredients might be a good keyword to search for, actually, because I really like Paul's, spice market thing. That was good. And then awareness with the public is a big thing as well. Or community. That could be a good one. That one, community there. So what I'll do is I'll search the first one, which is ingredients. I mean, yeah, that's a good one because there's all sorts of spices and things like that. That's good, like that. So you can see it goes into your sort of main glide show window here. And then the next one I'm going to search for is community. See what comes up. Community aware. I mean, this is a good one, actually. That's a good one, sort of solidarity. That's what we're looking at. driving awareness in your community, people standing up for each other. That all works for me. So I'm going to click save. And you'll see this goes straight into your page now. This is where we left off. And this is what it brings in. Now you can see it's got a text box in here. Now you can put that text box in the middle. It makes it bigger. And there is it, think about that, because it makes it bigger. It also makes the video bigger. So actually, I'm going to keep it on the right-hand side because I don't want the video being too big. So I'm going to get my third section, which is all about flow cert, which checks that fair trade standards have been met by farmers, workers, and companies. So here I'm going to click the plus in my text box, go to text. This is exactly the same as we just did in the first two sections. Change this to a quote function, looking good. What I might do is put a little break in that section there. So it's dead easy to do that, by the way. You just put your cursor where you need it to, press return. Maybe I can highlight things like when all the ingredients that can be fair trade are, that's the most important thing. The product carries the fair trade mark. And then again, YouTube link, doing nothing for us there. I'm going to cut it, press the plus, go to video, stick it in there. Easy peasy. There we go. That's all about flow cert, which we've done there. You could also, make that bold as well. Why not? And then the last section, fair trade drives awareness with the public. Copy that. Oh, not that one. This one here. And then scroll to your last one. You can see it's called a glide show because it glides nicely from image to image. Looks really nice. And then maybe I'll keep this on the left-hand side. Really good to sort of keep on moving the eye around, keep the reader interested and engaged. So press text, paste it in there, do all our formatting. And then this one down here is not a video. It is actually just a link to a website. So I'm going to cut that. And instead of a video, I'm going to press button. Now, button text. What was the thing that you wrote in yesterday, Paul? It was good.
I just wrote get involved.
Get involved. That's a good one. Yeah. Now, actually, I might put it in capitals, actually, because, it's kind of a call. We call it a call to action. Get involved. Put your link in there. Center the button. Click save. Look, it is. There it is. Beautiful. Love how that works. Right. Let's have a look at how Paul does that.
Okay, so guys, very, very similar. We will scroll down, click on Glide Show. Again, we're looking for our images first. I really liked Dom's Spice Market. So I'm going to take a Spice Market. Okay, let's see what we get. Loads of stuff. You know what I really like? This one here.
You're a curry fan, Paul?
Fantastic curry fan. I have a brother-in-law that lives in Manchester.
Oh,
yeah. Capital of the UK. So
yeah, might be capital of the world.
Yeah,
nice.
Love curries. So we're going to choose that one, and then the community one was great, but I'm going to go something different, something more about awareness. It's kind of like people protesting. So I'm going to type in protest. Let's see what we've got. There we go. I just kind of like this first one. It's like people standing in the street, kind of fighting for human rights, or even that one's kind of cool. Yeah, guys, if you don't like an image, just click on the image and you'll see a bin. Just delete it.
Yeah,
just delete it there like that.
That is a good one, yeah, because it's all about awareness, telling people what it's all about. That's a good one.
We'll just hit done, and just like Dom's, I can move this around this box here. Now it can be a bit tricky on the iPad, but as you can see, if you hold it, it'll go bit more transparent. I'm going to stick that one in the middle. Add in my text. I've just highlighted and copied my text, right? So paste that in, and it's exactly the same as before. So we'll just choose this. As Dom said before, it's nice to keep it consistent. So if you've done one type of title, keep that title run the whole way through your web page. We will select our YouTube link, so we'll cut that, and then we will add in the video just in here. There we go, done. And nice. Actually, now that I'm here, I don't kind of like it in the middle, so I'm just going to drag it over to the right hand side, and you can see it resizes everything for me. Yeah, the video being too big isn't great. Then we can scroll down to the bottom. I'll just show you how we highlight our text again. So we go back, highlight all our text. This is a tricky part sometimes. There we go.
Sometimes it just doesn't want to do it, does it?
It's just my big clumsy fingers. That's all it is.
It's too many curries.
Too many curries. So I don't want my text over her image, so I'm going to drag that over the right. Add in my text. Paste it in. Again, just making sure everything's nice and consistent. I will highlight my button. There we go. Sometimes, again, this can be tricky, so we'll hit select. Just drag this over. Cut that. Click on the plus, click button. Same thing as DOM. I will get involved. Put it in the middle and put my link in there. Done. Perfect.
Very nice.
Just move this one now over. So again, you can just go back and forward. Now, just before I pass it back over to Dom, at the top of my page, I have the play button, which is right there. I can preview my web page at any time. And you can see.
Very nice.
Very professional.
So easy to make it look good.
So easy. So easy.
Yeah.
And then, Dom, just while I'm here, I'll show them now how to save their work.
Yeah.
So you'll see the arrow that points up is right there. We press on the arrow, and you want to generate your public link. Now, guys, this can take a bit of time, just depending on your internet. So generate public link. See, mine should be going quite quick, but the more videos and things and links you have on your web page, that'll take longer. And then once you get that link,
I always think it's quicker on the iPad than it is on the desktop, actually.
So
there you go.
There we go. There's our link. So I can either press on my link. It's that link there that you want to share with us. Okay. So press on that link, and there we go. This is my fully functioning web page.
Amazing. So easy, so quick.
So easy.
Yeah.
So easy.
There you go. Right. Let me show you how to share it on the browser. So let's go in here. So like Paul said, you can present it and check all the things that you've done. One of the things I do like about the browser that you can't do on the iPad is use your left and right arrows, and it kind of scrolls from section to section. That is one thing I do think is good on the browser. There we go. Although when you do that, it doesn't quite sort of showcase the glide as well as if you're just using the scroller, I must say. Right, so I'm happy with that. So I'm going to press escape to come out of it. If you want to change the theme now's a good time, because you can see all the different changes that it makes. Paul used the crisp one. He's a fan of that. I do like the crisp one. I used to be a fan of the Luca one, but I've gone off it a bit. But Baldwin's not bad either. Kind of quite impactful, quite like that. That's a good one. So again, once you're happy with that, you press share, publish, and share link. And again, you create the link. And once the link's created, it'll give you those options to share via Google Classroom, give you the option to share via Microsoft Teams, however you want to do it. But generally, what we find is people just really want the link because it's very easy to just copy that, send it to whoever you want. Right. That's all we got time for. How did you find that, Paul?
Fantastic.
I'm still reeling from the fact that you made an even better post than the one you did yesterday. I've got to go and put some homework in here. But happy Fair Trade Day and happy International Nurses Day to you and everyone else. And if you do want to create a poster for your teachers, I think that'd go down pretty well. One thing I am going to do for your teachers is send them an email and say, thanks very much for coming. Here's how you get your swag. Don't forget, once you've completed both of your challenges, 1, 2, count them both. Once you've completed both of them, you can get your teacher to get some free swag delivered to your school. And if you go and teach your skills to another class, other students, teachers, things like that, you also get VIP swag. Good stuff. Happy Friday, Paul. You got anything to say before we sign off? Always land you in it. What have you got for us?
Happy Friday, guys, and happy creating. Just keep going and keep
Exactly
creating.
Exactly that. Right. Catch you all later, and I'll see you on the next Digital Leader Sessions. Good.